You're watching the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Sr. Niner Gang, help me out. I want you to come up with one bold 49ers prediction and DM me on Twitter at Chase_Senior. If I get enough replies, I'll share all of your bold predictions on a future 49ers Report next week. Let's kick off this mailbag with this question coming in from Jay Mannino. Hashtag 49ers. Trade Jimmy G to the Colts or the Vikings. They both going to be in need of a quarterback. I think the Colts certainly in need of a quarterback. I don't think Jacob Eason is going to be able to step in if Carson Wentz is out for, let's say, 12 weeks, because the timeline for that foot injury is 5 to 12. 12 weeks really takes you throughout the first month of the NFL regular season. And I really like Frank Reich as a coach. I like the Colts as an offense and as a team. It's a very good team. But not only are you losing Carson Wentz, Quentin Nelson with the same type of injury, wouldn't rule out the Colts maybe overpaying for Jimmy Garoppolo. And if Trey Lance is ready to play, that could end up being a smart deal. To the Vikings, though, I know you're saying that because of Kirk Cousins. He's not getting the vaccine, already missed some time in training camp because of COVID protocols. I don't think there's much of a concern there with Kirk Cousins. Let's pivot to this question from Nicole and Harold Gillenwater. What a name there. I love it. What do you think about giving up a second and fourth rounder to get Xavien Howard? I say we should do it. I'd be all in on Xavien Howard, and I might be in the minority in saying this, that I think he might be a better cornerback than Jalen Ramsey. I like his ball skills a little bit more. I like his ability to drop back in coverage a little bit more. This is a guy who led the NFL in interceptions last year with 10, and I know that the Niners are without future first-round picks because they traded up for Trey Lance, but a second and a fourth rounder to bring in an all-pro caliber player and a guy at a position of need to make the rest of the secondary go from good to great, I think that'd be pretty savvy. Junior Toscano, always in the chat. Do you think we should have re-signed Akhello Witherspoon? If you make a trade for Xavien Howard, no. I do think Witherspoon is a good player, and it's been funny to see a lot of 49ers going to the Sea Chickens and a lot of Sea Chickens going to the Niners, given how hostile this rivalry is in the NFL, one of the best and most hated rivalries in the NFL right now. Akhello Witherspoon, he's a really good player for sure, but I think the Niners secondary is in a good spot going into the season, even if they don't make a deal for Xavien Howard. Vincent looks as though he's all aboard the Trey Lance hype train because he's updated the photo with a Trey Lance pic. Gotta love it, man. Do you think Lance can be like Mahomes? Because I've heard, quote, he's been like Mahomes 2.0 or something like that, and they are very similar. I've been asked this a couple times over the last couple of days. I don't really like comparing rookies to guys like Patrick Mahomes, who already has an MVP as well as a Super Bowl trophy. I'm not sure we've ever seen a player of Mahomes' skill set in terms of his arm talent. He is a pretty good athlete. The arm slots really dropping down to 3/4 or sidearm. He's able to unleash no-look passes. I don't think Trey Lance is going to do stupid stuff like that, but I think one of the reasons why Mahomes and Lance have kind of been linked up, Lance has an excellent arm. The guy can absolutely let it rip, and his deep ball so far has been displaying very nice touch and also similar build of Patrick Mahomes, and I might say that Trey Lance a better runner of the football than Patrick Mahomes, so maybe in that area he's even better than the former MVP. SAUL BADMAN, is it normal for guys like Bosa, Ford, and Jalen Hurd to have off days? What are their health updates? It's pretty normal throughout the course of training camp for guys like that coming off of injuries to have off days. So many times, especially over the last few years, when a lot of organizations have prioritized keeping players healthy with the implementation of sports science, they kind of track all of this data and they look at how a player is performing physically, and they're like, okay, Nick Bosa, you're coming off a torn ACL. We want to give you the bag. You're one of the best edge rushers in the league. Let's give you some rest. D Ford, you're coming off neck and back injuries. It'd probably be wise to sit you. Jalen Hurd, you haven't played a regular season game yet, only one preseason game, right? And you're coming off an ACL and a back injury. So very, very normal to have players like that coming off their respective injuries to sit as much as they have been sitting throughout training camp so far. With that, Producer Marshall Green just cooking up this heater of a question. Will Bosa, Ford, and Hurd play week 1 when the Niners line up against the Lions? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Be sure to get those votes in the comment section. Gabriel Herrera. A little bit of a tongue twister there. Do you think Indianapolis is a potential landing spot for Jimmy G? Been asked this a time or two in this mailbag and outside of this mailbag. I do think that's the case. If I am the Colts and I do want to press pause, it's because of this. Carson Wentz, always hurt. Unfortunately, Jimmy Garoppolo, very often hurt. You'd be paying both of those guys somewhere in the neighborhood of a combined $40 to $50 million. Chris Ballard, very smart GM. Is he willing to take a risk on 2 guys making a lot of money at the quarterback position? Wet Noodle 187, hope the family's doing well. What concerns do you have about the defense and the offense? Welcome back, Chase. Thank you, Wet Noodle 187. I was off last week because I've been doing a bunch of NBA draft coverage. Myself and Harrison Graham, we've just been killing the game. What concerns do I have first about the 49ers defense? Maybe it's that secondary, because if Jason Verrett goes down, I start to become a little bit concerned. Could guys like Ambry Thomas and Diamador Lenore, right now as bench pieces, become significant players in that secondary? Then do you pivot to maybe trying to sign a guy like Richard Sherman potentially? As for the offense, I really don't have many concerns. It would just be injuries. If Trent Williams goes down, that could spell disaster, because you're looking at maybe Jalen Moore, who can play guard and left tackle as a rookie, stepping in at that spot. So those are some concerns that I have. But if the Niners are healthy, this team could be very, very legit. Christian, is Lance going to start in the preseason game, 49ers versus Chiefs? It's a good question. I would say no. I would say and predict that Jimmy G plays the first series. And then after that, Kyle Shanahan turns the ball over to Trey Lance to see what the rookie can do. And I think that's the best case scenario, because if we get to see Trey Lance playing for 2, maybe even 3 quarters, that'd be pretty dope. Digital Devil, how many sacks do you think Bosa will break this year? I'm guessing 10. I think he's going to be a double-digit sack guy. I think Nick Bosa is poised for a breakout. Rookie season 2 years ago, before he tore that ACL last year, he had 9. I've talked a lot about that. I think Bosa, one of the best edge rushers in the league. He has so much respect from everybody across the league in that regard, as being one of the best and most dangerous guys coming off the edge. Wet Noodle 187 with another question. Do you see us making any big moves before the season starts? Maybe a trade for a guy like Xavien Howard. Maybe they could trade for X, part ways with a 2nd-round pick, maybe even a 4th-rounder, maybe even a 3rd-rounder. The risk that you weigh there is, okay, next season, because of that Trey Lance pick, we don't have a 1st-round pick. So do we not want to draft in the first 2 rounds? I don't think this Niners team has a bunch of weaknesses, but it's important as you start to pay guys more money, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa coming up, Trent Williams' large contract, George Kittle. You kind of want to replenish some of that talent and some of that depth. Call me Sam, producer Sam Brown in the chat maybe, who is in the running for 3rd and 4th wide receiver. Jalen Hurd, if he can stay healthy. Mohamed Sanu, Trent Sherfield has been one of the bigger surprises in camp so far. Jawan Jennings, Richie James, Travis Benjamin. I'm out on Kevin White. Liked him at West Virginia. That was a plethora of injuries ago. So I'm looking at all of those players to be players for wide receiver 3 and wide receiver 4. I did see Austin Watkins, UDFA out of UAB, getting some minimal first-team reps without the pads on. All of those guys in contention. Who do you think is going to be wide receiver 3, though? Let me know in the comment section. Is it going to be any of those guys that I mentioned? Let me know in the comment section down below. The faithful, time for you to show out and support the show. Are you subscribed to the 49ers Report? If the answer to that is no, my response is, what are you doing? Because we're bringing you the best and the latest 49ers news and rumors. Any training camp updates that do happen or come forward, we got you updated here on the channel. We go live every single Thursday, or we go live anytime there's breaking news. And it's one of my big goals to get the 40,000 subscribers before the start of the 2021 NFL season. So smash that subscribe button down below, or go to youtube.com/49erstv. For those of you watching right now, more than 228 of you, message me one 49ers prediction that you have for this upcoming season, and I will share it on a future 49ers Report video. Simply DM me at Chase_Senior. My DMs are open, and hit me up with one bold 49ers prediction. Doge for life. Doge to the moon. Yo, Chase. Love the show. I love you. Is an Xavien Howard trade still on the table? Niner gang. I'm not sure it's on the table because I don't know if the Niners have specifically been linked to the Dolphins in trying to make a trade in exchange for Xavien Howard. But again, a second and a fourth-round pick, something that I would think long and hard about if I am John Lynch. What would you do? Would you trade a second-round pick for X, also known as Xavien Howard? Type G for give me that. Type T for I think that price might be a little bit too much considering we don't have a first-round pick next year. Get those votes in. Scion, what up, man? How many sacks for Eric Armstead in 2021? Can we go with like a manageable 8? Because if he moves forward with 8 sacks, I think that's pretty solid. Raider Nation 98. Sorry about the name. I'm a Bay Area fan for life, but I was just wondering how long you think Jimmy G will be a Niner. People putting boo in the chat because we have a Raiders fan watching the 49ers report. Hey, if you want to make the switch from the Raiders to the 49ers, we welcome you with open arms because Raiders, they're a bunch of degenerates, man. Just being honest here. You know what I'm saying, man? I'll tell you what, man. Raider fans, man, not as good as 49ers fans, man. You know what I'm talking about, man? John Gruden impression. We have fun. You want to rip me in the comment section? You can do that as well. Speaking of that, yeah, I think Jimmy G, he could get beat out by Trey Lance, honestly. We'll see. That's a great training camp battle. Thanks for the question. Matthew Bradshaw, I have a badass 49ers man cave, but not on Instagram. How can I show it to you to show it off? Well, on the bottom of your screen right now, even though you don't have Instagram, you see my handle at Chase_Senior. It's the same handle both on Instagram as well as Twitter. So if you want to message me your 49ers man cave, you can do so on Twitter at Chase_Senior. I gave you a couple options there. If you don't have an Instagram, maybe you start an account. Hopefully you have a Twitter. If you don't, maybe you start an account. And if you do, Matthew Bradshaw, I will feature your 49ers man cave on the show. Digital Devil, what are you most excited for about this season, Chase? Well, Digital Devil, I am excited to see the development of Trey Lance. I think that's one of the most fascinating and intriguing stories, not just in the NFC West or the NFC, across the entire NFL. If this guy comes onto the scene and has a Justin Herbert type of season, then that would be absolutely incredible. So I'm most excited to see what happens with Trey Lance and if he does play his development. Other than that, I just want to see this Niners team stay healthy because I think if they do stay healthy, they have so much potential to seriously compete. Dave in the desert, hopefully you're staying cool and dry. Is Sherfield a better prospect than Hurd? Of course you're staying dry because you're in the desert. What am I talking about? I don't think Sherfield is a better prospect than Hurd. In the long run, is he going to become a better player? Sherfield's only in his mid-20s, and with the Cardinals over the past 3 years, he was able to reel in 28 catches. And unlike Jalen Hurd, he gives you some special teams play as a gunner, maybe as a return man. Trent Sherfield, he's been playing very, very well throughout training camp so far, but Jalen Hurd is a physical freak. This guy's like 6'5", 225, a former running back turned wide receiver. Now Kyle Shanahan is talking about him potentially being a tight end. This guy is a prospect, has a boatload of talent. Can he stay healthy, though? We will see. Niner Gang, we're going to be live for a watch party for week 1 of the NFL preseason when the Niners kick off against the Kansas City Chiefs. That is next Saturday, August 14th. Make sure you join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe we'll drink some beers, answer your questions throughout, do a little play-by-play, and hopefully Trey Lance plays for 2 or 3 quarters so that we're able to break it down and he throws some tutties. YouTube.com/49ers TV. Smash that subscribe button down below and be sure to join us.